everybody, to another Premier League weekend reaction podcast. I'm your host, Gary, joined, as always, by Alex. How are you doing, Alex?
As well as can be expected on this Monday afternoon. That's all I say now. I just assume everyone has a shit Monday because the weekend's done and everyone's just in a mood like I am.
Personally, terrible for you, but we'll get into that later. If you're new here, subscribe, give us a like. We would really, really appreciate it. But what's coming up on today's episode? We've got winners and losers of the week as per usual. We're talking Brentford versus Liverpool. And of course, we are going through the North London derby, which has a personal connotation for me and Alex. And we have goal of the week. Let's get straight into it. Winner of the week, Alex. Who is your winner of the week?
I've gone this week. I have gone for Mikel Antonio.
Antonio. Wow. Okay. You always surprise me with the winner of the week. I don't. You always go for the the non-favorite.
I don't know. It depends where my heart is at that moment in time. But I tell you why I've gone with Antonio, because I feel like I owe him a little bit. Because you remember 2 weeks ago against Southampton, where he got sent off in the last minute. I gave him loser of the week. I conceded.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat that to get sent off.
I conceded it was a soft loser of the week. So I feel like I owe him a soft.
This is not how you should be judging winner and loser of the week.
This is my winner. I don't care. It's in my brain. I feel like I owe him. So this is me paying him back. He's my winner of the week. He got the last minute goal against Leeds. It sent the West Ham fans wild to the point where they were on the pitch getting a rugby tackle by the stewards. And he's getting it. Take it, Antonio. Your prize, along with all the prize money, is on the post on its way to you.
Yes, not bad shout for winner of the week. Straight back into the team. He's just pumping out output no matter what. He and West Ham absolutely need it. For me, I'm quite split. For some reason, I'm split between Emi Martinez and House. Right? House almost went from hero to zero, but he remained a hero, which, he must be thanking. It's got Bruno Fernandes to thank for that one. Scoring that amazing header, but conceding a penalty in the last minute, which, to be honest, it really was a penalty. Like, you couldn't argue against it. So he must be feeling like $1 million. But Emi Martinez, who I was going to describe, engages in the greatest sequence of shithousery by, getting into Bruno Fernandes' head, pointing and asking for Ronaldo to take the pen. He wants Ronaldo because he wants to face him, and he doesn't think that Bruno Fernandes is a better penalty taker. Dances around. Bruno skies the penalty. Absolutely skies it. And he has the audacity to dance in front of the United fans. And you can't have written it better. Especially after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's comments before the game. So that's why I think I talked myself into giving it to Emi Martinez. I think he just came up trumps.
I think that's a fair pick. And the thing is, it's within his repertoire because he did it for Argentina, didn't he? He does love a bit of shithousery. And look, let's be honest, for everyone other than the team on the wrong end of it, everyone loves a bit of shithousery, right?
Yeah. It was very. I think the video clips around Twitter was going non-stop. It's quite crazy. Emi Martinez, he basically was an understudy for this entire life. You just can't tell that someone has this type of personality until they're given the choice, given the chance, right? Big, bold personality. But you can let us know who you think your winners of the week are. I've gone for Emi Martinez. Alex has gone for Mikel Antonio. Let us know who you think. Now we move into what is, quickly becoming my favorite segment of our little podcast, and that is loser of the week. I've got someone in mind, definitely. Would you like to go first?
Can I be honest with you?
No.
I was going to pick Fernandes. Up until a few hours ago, it was going to be Fernandes. Did you say no there? I like. It was going to be Fernandes, and the reason's obvious. It's consistent with the reasons that I picked, or Mark Noble was picked. I almost picked him. Can't remember if I picked him now. That I picked Mark Noble last week because he's literally, it's his one job towards the end of the game to finish that. And what makes it worse is you've got another guy there, almost like the grass is always greener guy in Ronaldo, who's, he's more than ready to take it as well. So it's like almost like double the pressure for Fernandes. And on top of that, the Martinez shithousery that was going on, like this was his moment to like kind of stamp down that he's a Manchester United penalty taker, and he absolutely fluffed it. But he got off the hook. And I'll tell you who has taken his position in the last few hours. And that is, it's not Marcus Rashford because...
Oh, Marcus Rashford.
Well, no. So I have a lot of respect and time for Marcus Rashford. So this is a general, any footballer who
You're going after a saint, by the way. It's not advisable.
Look, yeah, but isn't the devil a saint, right? Right? No, that's not my point. You're making me argue, right? My point is any footballer that uses a company for their social media.
Oh, this is what you're on about. Okay.
Right. So basically, I don't know if you've seen this, but Marcus Rashford sent out a tweet, and then a company kind of retweeted it and said, "Oh, I've spelt this wrong, or I've missed out a word," but basically conceded to writing the tweet for Marcus Rashford. And I feel like, I don't know, it's something I feel a bit wrong about that. Like, yeah.
Why so annoyed about this? I mean, like, I wouldn't mind hiring a social media person. I don't have time.
What do you mean he doesn't have time? Like,
not have any followers.
He trains and he plays football. Are you telling me he doesn't have time? Because there's plenty of footballers who have time to go out.
But he might be scared that he might be saying something wrong or whatnot, and then he can blame it all on them when things go peak.
And wait, no, it's not he, it's they. It's multiple, because there's lots of people that do it, right? And so I'm not blaming Rashford. What, is he scared he's going to get cancelled? Are they scared they don't have any personality? I would much rather...
Getting cancelled is a serious thing.
Yeah, well, don't be a dick then. If you get cancelled, it might be for a reason. Look, here's my thing, right? Because you're making me argue. Right, here's... I'm going to say it, and I'm going to be over and done with. I would rather get one genuine tweet from a footballer a month, if that's the time that they can fit in, then a load of crap from a fake company, just like kind of piling shit, which like that doesn't mean much to them. I would much rather like kind of go down that road than a disingenuous route. No, well, can't you just, it's a massive chance for you to connect with fans, and you can't use that. No.
Wow, someone definitely woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Okay, my loser of the week.
You got me ranting.
I was very surprised by that pick. That's why. One standout winner for me for loser of the week has got to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Absolutely. Number one, complaining like a child about Klopp, calling out about the fact that, United get far too many penalties, which, by the way, I feel like Jurgen Klopp is just saying what everyone else is thinking in the entirety of the league over the last 3 years. Two, not having the balls to call out Jurgen Klopp out by name. Everyone knows you're talking about him. Absolute weak source right there for me. Three, getting that penalty that you've been crying about, right? And four, missing that penalty and then crying about the fact that Villa players are surrounding the United players during the penalty, which it's an absolute hypocrite because, him being part of the United team who for years, if everyone remembers that far back, systematically surrounded referees every single time there was a chance of a penalty, right? And basically, urging and borderline intimidating referees to give penalties. So, Solskjaer, you are without doubt a hypocrite and my loser of the week. You reap what you sow, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I don't think I agree with you.
I need people in the chat to agree with me.
Okay, well, we'll see. People can argue, right? Who's right or wrong here? Where do I start? I think you're getting caught up in a battle of like kind of mind games. Look, of course, Klopp is going to come out and say Manchester United get too many penalties. If it disadvantages United in any way, if it increases the pressure on referees not to give a penalty by 0.3%, he's going to do it. And in that same way, of course, Ollie, of course, he's going to do the opposite. And if it gives any pressure on Manchester United to get penalties, of course, he's going to say it. So I think them two, it's a little bit of mind games that just one's trying to get the advantage over the other. So I think you're getting caught up in that, first of all. And I'm not even sure I agree with what you say, where everyone's thinking that
he got himself caught up in it. He could have
Wait,
ignored it.
no, but if he thinks he can get an advantage of that out of it, he's going to try. And I don't know if I agree with what you said about Klopp, because I went back. So, you know, when Manchester United had that season, it weren't last season, it was the season before that, where they got 14
like
penalties.
every season, but
oh, hang on. Right, they got 14 penalties, right? Which was a record. I went back, and so a Manchester United fan, he did a compilation, right, where you could go back, you could watch every single penalty and make you judge for yourself. And of the 14, I think there was about 10 of them where I felt, you know what, it's probably a pen.
That's 40% right there. That is a massive advantage. What the hell?
I'll be honest, when you put it like that, you make a very good point. But still, that's still 10 penalties.
You're
right?
talking about marginal gains. People try and get like 2 or 3%, right? This 40% is like a ridiculous amount.
I know, but still 10 penalties is still a lot, all right? And you're missing out on the penalties that they're not given. And as we saw last week against West Ham, they should have had a penalty and it wasn't given, and you're missing them. But you know what I'm like? I try to be fair. I try to look at it from both sides. So, right, the thing that doesn't help them is so they got the most, they got the second most amount of penalties last season. They got 11. I think Leicester City were top. They got 12. And the season before that got 14, as we said, as a record-breaking season. But Manchester United haven't actually finished in the top 3 for touches in the opposition's penalty box in the last 2 seasons, which statistically, I'm not agreeing with you. I'm saying there's no smoke without fire, right? So I believe there is a bit of smoke, but I feel like you've jumped out the pan into the fire. That's 2 fire idioms there. I don't know if that works. But do you see what I mean? I feel like I'm here and I'll be like, kind of the evidence is stacking. You're way over here somewhere. I don't even know where you are. I might have to like kind of change screen just to show.
Maybe Sir Alex Ferguson's aura is still so heavy and in and amongst the referees' minds that they still have to give penalties. But
yeah, I will agree with you on one thing though, and that I do think Ollie has been a little bit moany.
Oh, massively.
And it's getting a bit boring. And the way I know that he's like kind of, it's not me just thinking, oh, he's moaning again. I compared him to Pep, and when City lost to Spurs, Pep come out and said that City they weren't good enough. Basically, Tottenham weren't great either, but City weren't good enough. When they drew against Southampton every week, he turned around. He actually complimented Southampton, didn't he? He actually come out and said, you know, you got a good compliment to Southampton. And if he's not too busy going like kind of self-depreciating comments after the self-hating comments, even don't know what that word was. Self-hating comments after the matches. He then has a dig at the own fans after the was it the Leipzig game?
Yeah.
It's entertaining. You know what I mean? Usually when he says something, he's entertaining. Whereas Ollie, he's just saying the same old tune, and it's getting a bit boring. And you know what? If I wanted to hear or see someone moan every week, I would just follow Piers Morgan on Twitter. But yeah, change the tune, Ollie. It's getting a bit boring.
I think the pressure's getting to him a little bit. So we'll talk about a little bit more about Man United, right? I mean, I don't know. Man United over the last couple of weeks has been fascinating. You know, despite the fact that they should have been well down in the first half, Aston Villa played tremendously well. They still had a lot of chances to score. And I don't know. I was watching it. I want to know what you think. Like, am I making too much of something? You have Cristiano Ronaldo, who, let's be honest, he's amazing. He is amazing. He's going to be like 100% selfish, right? And it's there to score. Fine. Bruno Fernandes, we know, is going to provide the final pass. But once he's in the box, right? No way he's passing. And then on top of that, you're someone like Mason Greenwood, who is there and is like, if no one's going to pass to me, right? And I know Ronaldo's Ronaldo, I need to go get mine. If I want to be serious about being a superstar, I need to go get mine. I haven't even mentioned the fact that Jadon Sancho can't even get in the team, right? Is this a potential issue? In terms of chemistry, like, they didn't play poorly, but that might limit them because they've got the great players, but it will limit them to how far they can go.
I think you're looking like, I think you need to look at the bigger picture. I think, look, is Ronaldo greedy? Yes, of course he is. Can Fernandes be greedy? Yes, of course they can. But at the same time, both of them have proved that if there is a player in a better position, they won't always just shoot. They will sometimes pass it, you know. But these top quality players, unless you're talking about Messi, who just seems to be able to get the goals and assists, even if he does pass it into people. He's the only person I know who's scored consistently, but yet will still kind of pass it if there's like kind of an easier chance. But these sorts of players, your Ronaldo, your Fernandes, they are going to be a bit greedy. But I think their greediness isn't the problem. I think the problem's a little bit bigger than that. It was a little bit exposed against Aston Villa. And there was two main differences in this game. Firstly, we need to acknowledge that Maguire and Shaw both went out injured, and they're two massive losses, right?
Yeah.
And I think the second thing is they didn't have any individual brilliance against Aston Villa. And if we look at them against Newcastle and West Ham, the performances weren't great, but they had that individual brilliance where they were able to see them through and eventually get the win.
Yeah.
So, was a draw against West Ham?
Yes.
Sorry.
No.
No?
Oh, mentally have a brain fart here. Man United,
well, hey, throw me off. It was a noble. Was it 2-1 or was it to go 1-1?
I thought Man United won that. But yeah, we got to talk about Aston Villa, right?
Are you not confirming that right now?
Oh no, I'm not. Do you want me to search it?
Yeah.
West Ham versus Man United. How can we forget? This is how we got a memory of No, I can't find it for some reason. Doesn't matter. Moving on to next. We've got to talk about Aston Villa, right? This game made no sense. Villa deserved it, but could have scored much more with like target missing. Yeah, Ollie Watkins who missed the absolute sitter too, right? Konsa crashing it at the far post from a corner and heading it over, and they scored with the most difficult chance in the game on the 88th minute with House. We spoke about this the other week. Now, how crazy 2 weeks of football changes everything. Dean Smith really came under pressure. Okay, we said social media pressure. We know it's going to be a bumpy ride during the season. Young team. But gosh, Villa are they just creating a crazy quick turnaround in terms of performance? Like, this is an excellent result.
I mean, yeah, but that's what football is, right? That's why we love it so much. In fact, it can just change like that. And do you know what's quite funny? I reckon Villa fans, I thought it was going to be one of those games, like kind of towards the end of it. And then, like over the 88th minute, House steps up with to win it for them. So, yeah, I think it's just one of those games. By the way, we was talking about Manchester United and West Ham, and we both brain farted.
They won. They must have won.
It was a Lingard goal.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
As soon as I doubted myself that it was a draw, I sat there and I was like, "Oh wait, no, wait," and then I couldn't think about it. But it's a Lingard goal. I just want to say on that, the point I was getting to, right, was that I believe this problems might stem from Ollie. Do you remember after last season, I said, when do we start respecting Ollie? Now he's finished second. And was like, it's for some reason, there's still some doubts over it. And right now, he's proven the doubters right. Because I believe the problem it can't be with the players. There's so many brilliant players there. And they have sort of a balanced like kind of squad. There's a lot of like kind of good defensive players there too. So I think the problem might be with Ollie.
That's fine. We're talking about Aston Villa. But
I was just capping after we both brain fired. I thought we should finish off that bit. You want to talk about Aston Villa some more? They played brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean, in the Premier League, I was trying to think, what is Aston Villa's sort of? They're currently 8th, right, in the Premier League, doing pretty well. I mean, 2 wins on the bounce, like that's 3 wins in 5, 1 draw. I don't know how many people would have expected Aston Villa to come back into like that top 8, 9, like 8 to 10 position. I'm just thinking, what is Aston Villa's ceiling? You think potentially, the fact that they let go of Jack Grealish, but were able to spend that money seems to be done wisely. Dean Smith is really, motivating each one of those new players and the main squad in general. Like, I think they can give a good push to the Europa League?
I think so. I mean, especially when you have a look at like kind of because people they always think of like kind of so you work your way down. You've got Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, and Chelsea, who are probably going to occupy the top four. And I would say from then onwards, you've got Leicester.
Yeah.
And then I'd say from then onwards, it's anyone's up for grabs, right? Tottenham and Arsenal are people a few years ago you'd have expected to be there. They've fallen off. Now you've got the new boys coming in. I think Aston Villa are part of that. They're going to be banning it out with your West Hams.
Brighton at the moment, Everton. But it's just that's the thing that we ask. Can we see the consistency in this team? And that'll be the test of time because I feel like everyone will have a bad patch in between now and the end of the season, especially in Christmas. So can Aston Villa have that consistency? I'm being convinced. Now on to our game of the week. Our very first game of the week, and that is Brentford versus Liverpool. Now, Brentford. Tremendous performance by Brentford. I mean, it was always going to be difficult, to kind of keep Liverpool out. And, Liverpool had a lot of chances to kill this game. But what I noticed is like what resilience Brentford had to keep it going and to attack Liverpool. Well, they could have easily given up, right? What I saw was the fearlessness to go at it from being like down. That struck me. But what did you make of that performance?
I think you hit the nail on the head with fearlessness. And I think that is exactly what they brought to the table. They went toe to toe with one of the best Premier League teams. One of the best teams in the league. And in doing so, they earned a very, very well points. And you know what I like most? I liked how they mixed up their attack. Did you notice that they sometimes went long, sometimes they went short? They sort of adapted to like kind of how Liverpool were pressing, because obviously Liverpool were an absolute nightmare to play against the way they press you up high. They defended very, very bravely with their goalkeeper and the defenders on the line. It was a really impressive performance for me. Do you know what most impressed me with that as well? Usually when promoted teams come up, right, and if they get a result against one of the better teams, 9 times out of 10, they've scraped that result, haven't they? Like it'd be a 1-0, whereas the bigger team would have like absolutely dominated the game. Did you know Brentford actually beat Liverpool in XG? They got 2.94 compared to Liverpool's 2.26. And they're actually the first team to do that to Liverpool this season. So I think, take pride.
Kudos.
Well, exactly. I think they should take pride in the performance, the result, and everything that comes with it.
Yeah, they were just super effective. I want to say it. Alex. I feel like you won't agree. I don't know why, because I get carried away maybe by a couple of results. Can we call it now? Are Brentford 100% staying up?
Absolutely
Feels like
not.
it to me. Why? Give me reasons why.
I'm not saying they're not going to stay up. I'm saying, can you call it now? No.
Just call it.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not. Look, do you want to know why? Do you want to know why?
Why?
Ian Holloway, Charlie Adam,
talking
Blackpool. I'm talking about when Blackpool come up. I think it was about a decade ago now, right? I'm talking when they came up. You may remember, right? They had a good start to Premier League life. They were in and around the Champions League spots. I think by Christmas, they were in and around mid-table. And then they got relegated. Now,
you're comparing Blackpool and Ian Holloway to Brentford. Brentford, super well run from top to bottom. Ownership to director of football and all their executive thought leaders in terms of football. It's down to this manager, right? Who's tactically astute. He's not no disrespect to Ian Holloway, but he's not Ian Holloway.
Okay, I agree with everything you've said there. But what I'm saying is my lessons from Blackpool is I'm not calling it yet. I do believe Brentford are much better than what Blackpool were, but I'm not calling it yet. I ain't doing it. They'll have to, I call it November maybe or December.
We got some haters then. Liverpool. Liverpool were spoilt, you know. Party was spoilt by the equalizer, but we got to mention Mohamed Salah, right? 100 top flight goals in 151 appearances. The fastest player to get that in a Liverpool shirt, which I thought was crazy when I heard that, because you got to think about the goal scorers that came before that. You've got Robbie Fowler, you've got Kenny Dalglish, you got Ian Rush as well. So what more superlatives can we say about this man?
What has he got? 35, 36 assists as well to add on top of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, Salah's been incredible for Liverpool, for the football club, and for the city. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's been quite well documented that Islamophobia in Liverpool has actually come down quite a bit since Salah, who is Muslim, since he arrived at Liverpool, which always gets portrayed in such a positive light. I'm not too sure, because I'm not being funny. If a player signed for my team and all of a sudden I said, I don't have a problem with what that person is or like kind of what they are anymore. I feel
only
like
takes a superstar to break all the records and win a Premier League. I'm just joking.
I feel like that would look badly on me. I feel like that would look badly. It's like, oh, okay, then you're okay now. But fine, look, as long as it's going in the right direction, right? You know, Salah has improved the city, he's improved the club. And I know at the moment there's a bit of a contract dispute, or I wouldn't call it a dispute, but they're discussing a new contract now. He might move on. You know, I think he has said before that he might want to move to like kind of Real Madrid, but I think he will always be fondly removed. And, you know, let's be honest, he's going to be remembered as one of the greats. He is on the top 10 of Liverpool goal scorers. And he's actually played 87 less games than the next lowest appearances on that list. But, Gary, a question for you.
Yes.
Who do you reckon that player is? So who's on the top 10 of Liverpool's list but has the second least appearances?
Robbie Fowler. It's got to be Robbie Fowler.
Absolutely not. I don't know why
Fernando
I said that.
Fernando Torres.
That's a good shout, actually. That's a good... I don't think I would have said Torres. I don't know why, because he obviously started brilliantly, but no, it's not Torres.
Didn't get 100 goals, maybe not, actually.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah, you can tell me. I'm going to keep guessing.
My hint was going to be it's not Andy Carroll. It was Michael Owen.
Michael Owen.
Yeah.
Ballon d'Or, Michael Owen, I should have guessed. I think it's funny, like, Mohamed Salah is just an insane machine. He doesn't seem to be slowing down. I mean, his very first season was an insane season. I can't remember what he scored, but he had a ridiculous output. And he signed £43 million, which seemed pretty high at the time. But it looks like that's cheap as chips for someone like Mohamed Salah.
Do you know what's quite funny? Rumour actually has it that Salah wasn't Klopp's first choice. Yeah, apparently Klopp actually preferred Draxler.
Draxler. Of course, Draxler. The guy who's been linked with every top club for the last 7 years.
I believe in the end, I might have to double check this one. This is off memory, but I believe it was Michael Edwards. I think he's either leaving or he's left. But is Michael Edwards the director of football, or they might have named it differently? But it's essentially the director of football at Liverpool. I think he's the one who pushed to get Salah over the line. So,
good.
Director of football done well. It's rare, but it does happen.
Liverpool's defending, I felt, was quite an issue on the day. Quite an issue. Very sloppy backline. Couldn't defend the crosses. When it came in, Brentford gambled quite valiantly, but putting so many players in the box, and it cost Liverpool dear, right? Where the game really should have been out of sight. You could blame the offensive players, but you want a solid back line. Are there any worrying signs for Liverpool? Someone's found out. Someone's found the chick in the armor.
No, I don't believe in that. I don't believe people kind of get found out. I don't think there's only been one time where I think someone has just been obliterated so badly that he's just never looked the same again. And that was Maicon against Gareth Bale. That's the only time where like kind of this guy went from one of the most respected right backs in the world to like kind of an absolute like no one over.
His physicality dropped off a cliff though.
But for me, no, it's not. It's not a worry. It's a blip. For me, it's a blip, and I feel like you can't get overly worried about a blip. You know, if it had been 2 or 3 games, I would then say yes, there's worrying signs for Liverpool. But it's one game.
But it's very interesting what Brentford did. Got the crosses in. Attacked Liverpool's right back, Trent, and the right centre back with 3 players, just overloading that side, and got look what happened. They got a great result.
I think Klopp underestimated Brentford. I don't think he expected them to commit that many players forward. I don't think he expected that. You know, newly promoted side is like he's probably sitting there thinking, who do they think they are doing that to my team? But I think at the same time, you know, Klopp's a very, very clever manager. I think he will probably adapt from this situation. Yeah, but let's not get it confused here, right? Liverpool have, prior to this game, had only conceded 1 goal, and that was against Chelsea. So, you know,
much ado about nothing. Then
I think if it happens again the next game or the game after, then I'd say there's a trend, and then there's worrying signs. But for me, 1 game, you can sweep it under the rug as a like kind of a one-off game.
Okay. Game of the week 2. It's a great game to talk about it, for me personally.
Can I just log off at this point? I don't want to.
Arsenal versus Tottenham. North London derby. Arsenal come out 3-1 victors. I felt like the 1 was quite generous as well. Arsenal. They looked like a team reborn against Tottenham. Not going to lie. It looked really good. I know a lot of it was the fact that Tottenham were very poor on the day. Very. Oh, my God.
Can I say, and I've said this to you time and time again, right? I actually, like, don't get me wrong, Tottenham were poor, but I don't like doing it too much. I feel like whenever a team does, like, kind of pummel another team and they go, oh, the other team's poor, it takes it away from the winning team. And I've never liked it. No, but I'm not going to change my rules just because Tottenham got pummeled. Right?
Absolutely.
I'm not going to change my rules, right? But I'm just putting it out there, right? Arsenal played very well. Yeah, sure, Tottenham were poor, but I don't like it when, like, kind of, you know, where they almost lean towards, like, kind of, they only happen because they were so poor. It's like, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. So,
okay, fair enough.
You carry on.
Arteta, you got the tactics right there. And combine that with, like, the energy and hunger from, you know, there from the start from the players. Pressed really well. Like, held possession in that first half very well. And once they scored, they never really looked back. They looked fresh. They don't have to worry about midweek games other than, you know, cups and Carabao Cup. Arteta has finally got the players that he wanted in his team, finally, that he purchased in the transfer window. And I feel like finally, after a year and a half, this squad actually looks very different to, like, the squad he inherited. Have Arsenal turned the corner here?
Can I say, like, 90% yes? All right, I'll tell you what, let me explain why. All right. Well, let's go back to Norwich versus Arsenal, right? With all due respect to Norwich, it's a game Arsenal should be winning.
Yeah.
Right? And then we look at their next 2 wins against Burnley and Tottenham. Now, let's be honest, those games can historically, like over the past few years, they can be difficult for Arsenal, and they got the win. But I would say both these teams so far this season have been subpar. Right?
Yes.
So the reason why I've got 90% is Arsenal's next game is against Brighton. And I would say that's a sufficient enough test where if they can beat Brighton, I think then we can say, you know what, they really do look like they've turned the corner. But I feel like it's like kind of, well, if anything, I'm disrespecting Burnley and Tottenham, so I do apologise, Burnley and Tottenham fans. But I feel like the test, like kind of like the headline looks good, but I feel like they just need that kind of sufficient test to actually say whether or not they've turned the corner. Because I feel like they've beat 2, as I say, subpar sides so far.
Yeah, I will say that, you know, the weakness with Arsenal, you scratch a tiny bit under the surface. They've got that weak underbelly of, you know, defending against physical teams and whatnot. So Burnley was a good test, even though Burnley have been underperforming. They're still going to put that physical impact on them. And then Tottenham, anything can happen in Derby. The intensity should be there. So I felt like those are the type of tests that are encouraging for Arsenal.
I think that's why I'm at 90%. Do you know what I mean? But it's like because they've still got to win those games. It doesn't matter if if Tottenham have lost every single game so far this season. Arsenal have still got to go in and win it. So that's why they get credit there. But as I say, I want to put a good informed team in front of them to like kind of tick all boxes for like kind of this turning the corner exercise. But I'd say you are 100% right. They have done like kind of all the right things last few games.
Oh, lap it up. I have one mate who compared Mick Arteta to Andre Villas-Boas, which made me laugh and systematically cry. Yeah, it's systematically cry at the same time. One thing we know is that Mick Arteta has been given more support and patience than Andre Villas-Boas ever got, right? And I think the scales slide a bit towards more like Pep Guardiola now than on the Andre Villas-Boas scale, at least. But do you think Arteta can get Arsenal back in the Champions League, or is it too much of a big feat this season?
I don't think this season. I think I'm still a little bit unsure on Arteta as a manager. I think, and I believe, he's a fantastic coach, absolutely brilliant coach, and that was the same as like when he was at like kind of Man City. He got absolutely rave reviews, and there's a reason Arsenal paid like £2 million for him, right? But I'm still waiting to see like kind of for how he can like kind of handle like kind of bad situations, you know, because how long has he been there now? It's been like kind of 2 years,
2.5 years,
you know, and they've not improved. And as I say, I believe he's a good coach, so it must be other areas of like kind of managerial game in which he might be lacking. But as you say, he got a lot of backing in this transfer window. It's going to take time to like kind of integrate those players. So I think for this season though, it's too far. You've got too many good managers with too many good players like kind of in there. It's probably going to be City, United, Liverpool, and Chelsea probably. But next season, you know, if Arteta can like kind of further build on this side and Arsenal keep on investing, and that is a very important part in it, then maybe next season. But I think this season it's too much of a difficult job, too much of a high hill to climb.
Yeah, I think for the Arsenal fans, I guess right in this moment in time, they feel more encouraged that they're starting to see a system and a pattern of play that is entertaining at the very least. He's doing it with young players from the Arsenal academy, and he's doing it with young players overall that he courted, and then they must be motivated to play under Mikel Arteta. So he's got that going for him. He finally has his squad that he wants. This is the big test, right? If he doesn't get anything above 7th place, then I don't think he should stay at the club. But we shall move on to Tottenham. I'm not sure there's a lot of positives to come out of this game, really, against Arsenal. Real lackluster effort. Negative tactics. Happy to sit deep, which resulted in, I think, making a lot of mistakes all over the pitch. How much was it that Nuno got it wrong or Mikel Arteta got it right? That's the question. For me, it felt like the most stress-free North London derby I've ever seen. So I felt it was a bit of both.
I think I'm going to give Arteta a bit more credit, just because, as I said before, like I feel like, you know, the winning team, if they've gone out there, they've done that. Sure, so I'd like go like 60-40.
And he motivated them the right way, which Nuno didn't.
I think it all went wrong from as soon as the teams were picked. Or right, depending which way you're looking at it. I think, first of all, Arteta got the team selection right. It was a big call. He made 2 big calls. One, to bring in Xhaka. Yeah. Right? Arsenal, last 3 games, they haven't conceded a goal, right?
Yeah. And to drop Pepe.
Right. I was actually going to say to start Ramsdale as well.
No, he started the last 2 games.
Well, no, but one of them was in the
No,
What is it, last two?
he started Norwich and he started Burnley and he started a League Cup game against West Brom earlier than that. But he
Okay,
played the last 2 games, Premier League games.
so I thought Leno was going to come in for the North London derby. So okay, fair enough. So the big one in Xhaka, and then you just said about Pepe.
Yeah.
So like kind of he made some big calls, which he did, and they paid off. So I think that's the first thing, right? And I think Nuno, I think he had some big calls, which I think he
brought in
bottled a little
Ndombele.
bit. Well, he started in Ndombele, didn't he?
Yeah, he brought him in. Yeah,
which I think was the right thing to do, but I think he brought him in for the wrong player. And do you know what's quite funny? Do you know the changes I would have made to that starting lineup?
Yeah.
It's the exact changes he made at halftime.
Right.
Which was, I think, Skip and Højbjerg, they offer like kind of much better protection for the midfield, which I think the Arsenal team, the Tottenham team needed. I think Tanganga didn't make any sense to me because Arsenal, they don't really have a one-on-one beast, do they? Maybe Pepe, but he's usually on
they're gonna beat you with patterns of movement. They're not gonna beat you one-on-one.
But the thing is, right, so when Tanganga's played, right, he's played against Grealish and he's played against Traore. Both of them one-on-one nightmares, right? You don't want to be there. And he's used his physicality to beat them. And against Arsenal, I feel like you don't need a Tanganga type. You need a Emerson Royale, which they have, who's a bit more attacking, but can also do the defensive side of the job. So the Tanganga one was a really weird choice for me. And then Delhi has not been playing well. He had his problems with Mourinho, and then against Nuno, he's finding himself it's in a midfield 3, but I think sometimes he transitions to go a bit higher up the pitch. But he's not getting high enough up the pitch. It's not his position. He's no good to be part of the build-up play. He's no good there. And if you play him in midfield, you're not going to be getting the kid. You've got to remember, this kid, I think, in his first season, he hit 18 Premier League goals. Right? The season after that, I think he hit 9 goals, but then got 10 assists along with it. Do you know what I mean? This kid, if you get him into the positions where he can excel, he does really, really well. But I think at the moment he's playing in this midfield role, and it's not for him at all. He's not good at it. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Plus, his confidence has been shot after the last maybe year a bit.
Yeah, maybe, but I just think he's being played massively, massively out of position. And I know it doesn't look like a massive move, but it is. He's not like kind of the build-up sort of player. So for me, it should have been a midfield 3 of Skip, Højbjerg, and Ndombele.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the test of a manager. You have to get the maximum of what you've got. And right now, he's not getting near enough the maximum.
Do you know the other thing that I thought was crazy is they played 3 in midfield, and you played like kind of quite a few like kind of ball players like Højbjerg. He can ball. He does a bit of like kind of everything like kind of well, but nothing like kind of brilliantly. He's one of those players. Ndombele is a baller. Delhi, he not in the build-up play, but like kind of on the end of stuff, he's very kind of good when he gets into the penalty area.
So you felt that Tottenham, yes, you went Tottenham just couldn't get out of their half, basically.
Yeah, but they kept going long. They just bypassed this midfield, which they put together to look like they wanted to play through Arsenal, but they kept going long. It's crazy.
Harry Kane, again, he had a terrible game.
Terrible
game. I don't know. I know Harry Kane starts slow, but it's like he starts slow in terms of goal scoring. He doesn't start that slow in terms of like what we've seen in the last couple of weeks. It's very easy to say that he's just moping about. I don't think that's his type of character. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe it's just that extra 5% where you wanted to leave and you can't. No, you got Nuno as well. He's tinkering with the team, new system. Like it's a lot of things.
I wouldn't be surprised. Look, I believe Harry Kane could turn around and say, "I'm going to put 100% into Tottenham," and I believe he will try to put 100% into Tottenham. But I do believe there's a subconscious part that will still be upset he didn't get his move, which I still maintain is not Tottenham's fault.
No, it's his fault.
No, it's not even his fault. It's Man City's fault.
No,
The most they offered was 100 mil. Why would Tottenham accept that for what they think is one of the best strikers in the world? Why would they accept that?
Yeah, and
Do you know
Harry
what I
Kane
mean?
signing that ridiculous contract. Anyway,
Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's been and done.
Tottenham.
We always moan about Sky Sports when they bring up Harry Kane to City, and here we are doing the same thing as them. Sack us now.
Tottenham went backwards, I believe, under Mourinho, right? Certainly in terms of attacking style.
Mm.
And now they seem to have gone a whole other world back with Nuno, right? Who they spent, no, Tottenham spent a long time trying to find a manager. This is the longest managerial search ever. And after, five or six candidates saying no, then they turned to Nuno, right? So it feels like Nuno wasn't their number one choice, obviously, right?
Can I just say, this may be petty, but I actually think, based on what you're going to say, it actually makes it sound worse. Joe candidate, it weren't actually candidates saying no to Tottenham. Do you know, for a lot of it, it's actually Tottenham turning down candidates.
Right, maybe.
Although I will...
Doesn't seem like it.
No, it didn't come out that way. But they did. Apparently, they didn't go for Conte in the end. Ten Hag, they were a bit dubious of. But you know what the funny thing is?
You would never have got Conte. I don't care.
I don't think so either. Why would he? But you know what the funny thing is? Potter, apparently, he didn't want to move to Tottenham because he was too worried about his glowing reputation, which is getting bigger, being ruined by being under Daniel leaving. So he may not turn them down, but I think he just outright refused. I think
Daniel Levy's a poisonous man. But my question is, like, how many games does Nuno have to save his job? Like, what's Tottenham's fixtures coming up? We'll get into this. Tottenham fixtures. You got Europa Conference League. Oh dear. Tottenham are facing Aston Villa. Then they're playing Newcastle away. And then they're playing West Ham away. Oh my god. And then they're playing Burnley away. And then you're playing Manchester United. Oh my god. This is a proper stretch.
That's actually quite a tough run of games.
That's a proper stretch. I say if he doesn't get 6 points, he might be gone. Out of 15.
For me, I feel like a manager always, just to be clear, this is my opinion. I feel like a manager always deserves at least like 2 transfer windows.
Yeah, but what if they're flopping it at 14th place?
But here's the problem.
If you're in charge, you're going to be under pressure to sack.
100%, right? And here's the problem, right? Is there's a few boxes that they want them to be ticked, and that is they would prefer like homegrown players. They want good football to be played, and obviously they want to win games.
Yeah. And
I feel like right now, the homegrown players, Skip is probably the only, maybe Tanganga, is probably the only kind of positive maybe for Nuno.
Dali Ali?
Well, he's from Milton Keynes. But he's not played. He's got like kind of Hill. I keep saying that wrong. Yeah, and he's not really getting any kind of Premier League minutes. So like kind of the I don't know why I mentioned it because he's not homegrown. But sorry, I meant young players, right? Is he playing good football though?
No,
I don't think so. Not really. And is he winning games? And at the moment, he's not. And I think if those 3 things continue to happen, I think it might accelerate his exit.
Well, you're ignoring the question. I say how many points required next 15?
What in the next 5 games?
Yeah, next 15 points.
Can I change the question? I think if he doesn't get,
and then he's got Everton away after that, and he's got Leeds at home.
If he loses 4 of those 5 games, I think he'll be gone.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Burnley away in the EFL Cup.
But there's an unknown element to this because you got to remember you've got this new kind of head of football at Tottenham in Paratici, the Italian. He looks very handsome. I'll give him that much, right? Is that going to change the way Levy deals with things? And Levy might be scarred because, as you mentioned, it took him 2 months to find a new manager. Do they really want to be? I mean, it's almost Nuno's almost been in the job as long as
there's no one else.
Does Levy want to go through that again? I don't think he would.
I don't know. Should have got Rafa Benitez, really. We digress.
Yes.
We got final segment. Goal of the week. It's a nice section to go through. Who do you think was your goal of the week this weekend?
You know, usually there's quite a few options to choose from. I find, and I feel like this game week was a bit mundane in terms of kind of special goals. I feel like there weren't kind of too many to choose from, so I thought I'd just pick out an absolute thunder bastard that I thought was decent, and I've gone with Longstaff.
It was a good goal. It was a good goal. Curtis Jones had a great goal as well.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
And House's goal was actually pretty awesome in terms of technique. Just smashing with how did he flick it back with the back of his head? Amazing. But
it's one of those goals where only when you think about it, you're actually that's actually quite an incredible bit of skill that he's able to get on target.
My goal of the week, I think, because I always people might say, "Oh, you're biased, you're Arsenal fan." Probably will say that. I love counter-attacking goals. I like one-touch passing, and I think Aubameyang's goal against Tottenham, and it was extra funny because I thought Xhaka kind of fouled the Tottenham player to initiate that counter-attack, but
I didn't actually think that was a foul.
Oh, okay.
Well,
even better.
I feel like today's rules, they're letting a little bit more physicality happen, aren't they? So for me, I think Højbjerg wanted the foul. I don't think it was a foul.
Okay, but great interplay between all the players. Smith Rowe, Xhaka, Aubameyang. The excellent cutback and excellent finish. I just, I like counter-attacking goals with one-touch passing. So that's my goal of the week.
It was a good goal.
And that is it for this week. We're rambling on, like we usually do. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we will see you next week. Keep safe, and let us know who you think won winners and losers of the week and goal of the week, and let us know.
See you next week.